was on the 14th floor, yeah, of my apartment. And I still remember 25th April 2015. It was 11:50 a.m. And then I saw the walls of my room cracking like this. I had nothing to hold, even when I was sitting on the floor, I was just shaking like this. That moment I felt that this is it, this is how I'm going to die.
Hello, my name is Meenakshi Shrivastava. I'm your host for the show Inspiring Explorers, and I welcome you to the show Inspiring Explorers. Each week, I'll be interviewing some of the most successful personalities who will share with us their inspiring life journeys and some of the interesting travel experiences that are not limited to sightseeing. For this episode, we have a girl who hails from a small town in Bihar where girls are not even allowed to do much. But she was always a rebel and determined to do something extra. From surviving earthquake, heartbreaks, to broken bones, she believed in the power of self. And today, she is famous as DesiGirlTraveller with more than 2 lakh subscribers on YouTube. So let's hear the journey of DesiGirlTraveller Priyanka Chandola. I'm Meenakshi Shrivastava, your host for Inspiring Explorers. Guys, make sure you share this episode with your friends. Please do subscribe, follow, give a 5-star rating, and hopefully a review. And also don't forget to come say hi to me on Instagram at the rate MyBohoVoyage. Now before I start this episode, let me inform you that we recorded this interview during the COVID-19 lockdown and hence the recording was done remotely. We were both sitting in our houses and recorded it online. So please don't mind the background noises and I hope you still enjoy it. So let me welcome our guest for today, a travel vlogger and YouTuber, our favorite Desi girl traveler, Priyanka Chandola. Thank you so much for coming, Priyanka. Welcome to Inspiring Explorers.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So firstly, I saw your YouTube channel and I saw your
Okay.
question and answers. So I would like to, begin with to
Mhm.
know about your journey from your childhood to ending up in Nepal.
Okay, so I'll start with saying about my hometown. So I come from a very small village in Bihar, and I like to put it this way because it gives me a sense of achievement that, I come from a place where girls are not even allowed to step out of the house. Okay. And for me to today coming from that background to this place where I travel solo, I'm a solo female traveler, it itself feels like a big, long journey for me. So, yeah, so my hometown is the place where not girls are not really allowed to go out. And with my, constantly since my childhood days, I have struggled so much in a way that, even for my basic education, I had to fight so much against everything. And
Mhm.
somehow I managed to step out of my house. Not that my parents were like not allowing me or something, but when you are like surrounded by society that has certain norms and all, you're bound to follow. And back then, even I was not this courageous. So what you see now, me as like very courageous person, that's what people call me. It has not come like overnight. I have really gone through so much and worked so hard to be able to be like this. So I completed that. Like I stepped out of my house, then I pursued my education, and also I keep telling this to people, that. From the background I come from, everybody like when I did my 12th, they were like, उसकी शादी कर देते हैं. Because लड़की है अब शादी कर देते हैं सब कुछ हो जाएगा perfect. And I was totally against this, not because I mean back then I was not even mature enough to understand should I get married or not, should I not get married. But
True.
I always had this desire to do something big.
Mm.
Always had this desire to, dream big for myself and to do everything that people said that is wrong and definitely what didn't feel wrong to me. So
Mm.
I was like every time pushing myself little bit. I didn't know back then, like I'm talking from my 12th standard. I must be 15, 16 maybe.
Mm.
Still like a teenager. I didn't know what is that I want to do in my life. But I always saw myself as a very empowered and very what do you say, confident and fearless sort of girl. Okay, I always saw that in me. And I really don't know what life is going to throw at me. I didn't have a career plan also. For me that moment my only agenda or the plan was to just go out of my house because I was like, I feel too suffocated and everybody's telling me don't do this, don't do that. So my only dream or ambition back then was to just do anything and just घर से निकल जाओ and So that's what I did. I didn't have any plan to become an IT engineer, which I did in the end.
Mm.
So I had never thought of enrolling for engineering and all. I wanted to pursue my career in, uh, I wanted to be a pilot, to be honest, but I never saw
Wow.
any guidance from anybody. And I come from a totally like a business background family. Not many people in my family have jobs and all. So I always saw them doing everything on their own. And today I realize now that I also run my own channel, I understand from where it has come in me.
Mm.
So, after 12th, I did my 12th from Patna, and then my only thing was that I wanted to get out of this place. So I enrolled for my engineering in Bangalore. Not something like I'm very proud of in the way that, I'm very proud of the degree I took, but not like, I did not give too much of any sort of competition exam or something. I somehow managed to get an admission. And when I stepped in the college, I have always been like very disciplined kid. I am
Yeah.
very studious, nerdy sort of. So I definitely did my best, even in education. Although I didn't want to be an engineer, but now that I had taken it and now that I got my freedom, I was like, let me give my 100% to it. So I did my BTech, and I used to be like, good in like a topper sort of person. But deep within, I was like, something was missing. I was still not what you say complete. And
Mm.
in that age, no one is actually feeling complete. You just want to get your graduation done, and you feel that you will have a job and everything will be sorted after that. So 4 years of engineering. Initially, I used to be a very quiet student in the class, although I was sitting on the first bench, always quiet. But slowly, like by reaching third semester, fourth semester, and by the end of the engineering, I was like a totally outgoing person. Everybody was knowing me who this girl is. I had become that sort of. So yeah, after doing my BTech, I got a placement in Satyam Computers, the IT company. At that time, it was a one of the big short companies in 2007. So I got
Mm.
placed. I had an off-campus placement, and when I took the job, obviously it was the first job of my career, and that happiness of getting your first salary in
Mm.
hand, it's like so beautiful feeling that was. So I was pursuing my then I was a programmer, not exactly a programmer, but yeah, as a fresher I joined there and I was learning everything that was thrown at me by my bosses and trainers and all.
Mm.
So, but I never found myself being too interested in it. Okay. I was
Mm.
like, I don't want to do this, but still I'm doing it because I thought never in my life I can do anything else. I just also like, I was thinking that because I studied engineering, this is my career now. Okay. I never thought beyond it. And 2.5 years I worked there, and the company went through a biggest like scandal and all everything. They laid off so many employees, more than 10, 12,000. And I
Mm.
was also one among those employees. And for a young person who have struggled so much for the education, okay, so that she could get a job for herself, and then she gets the job and she's laid off, not because
Mm.
she had some problem in her work, because the company is going through loss. Okay.
Mm.
So I got laid off, and I never had this confidence of doing anything else. I was like, this is it, my career is over now. I don't think so I can get placed in another company. And at the same time I had this constant pressure कि घर वाले शादी करवा देंगे फिर. So
Uh,
again I will get into that. I must be 22, 23 back then. But then I got like I was unemployed for good 7, 8 months after that company. And then I got an opportunity to go to Nepal, and there I worked with Nepal Tourism Board. I worked with an Indian tabloid magazine. It's called Travel News Digest, and I was working with the Nepal Tourism Board, and eventually that gave me a project in UNICEF. So I was working for a project for UNICEF under
wow.
another INGO. So that was my journey. And when I went to Nepal, I started traveling. As in, Nepal itself is so beautiful. Like वहां
Mm.
पे मुझे जाके पता चला कि mountain से जो मेरा प्यार है, like how exactly I felt in the mountains. So there I came to realize that in for traveling also I love mountains more. So living
Mm.
in Nepal, I lived there for 6 years almost 6 years. So due to my job also, and since I had friends and all, I started seeing the world from a different perspective. So till my journey, like till 2009, when till the time I was in India, I was too much into jobs and making money, being so fancy, fashionable, and everything. But the moment I went to Nepal, I saw people struggling so much for basic things. You know, in a way, it gave me a sense of lesson also that what you take so much for granted. There are people out there who do not have these basic facilities. So
Mhm.
living there, struggling a little, and then traveling and all to different places, I came to realize that traveling is my calling. And still, I never thought back then that one day I'm gonna have a YouTube channel or something. So, but yeah, I was doing this job and I was traveling also little to the mountains area, outskirts of Kathmandu, and some village tourism also I did.
Mm.
And 2015, an earthquake came, and I literally lost everything, whatever I had earned in those 6 years in Nepal. And I somehow managed to survive that, and it still gives me goosebumps. Like, how did I survive that? So after 2015 earthquake, I came back to India, and then I got another job in a production house, and that's how my journey to YouTube started.
Um,
So please explain in your own words.
Mhm.
the things that you felt, the emotions that came to your head and mind when the earthquake happened in Nepal. What was it like?
Okay, so I feel that all the studious kids, they have this habit of making future plans and having everything on paper. That's how we like it. And like everybody else, even I was like that. After this year I'm gonna do this. After this year I'm going to do this. If something happens like this, I will do something that. So I always used to see people will have plan B, but I have plan C, D, E, everything ready with me. Before I do anything. So I
Mm.
had the entire thing, like life was going good. I was like, this is what I want to do, pursue a career here in INGO as a digital marketer and as a content writer, whatever I was doing. But deep within, I always had this desire of coming back to India, and pursuing something here. But I didn't know what. Till that moment, I didn't know what I'm going to do with my life. So when the earthquake happened, I was on the 14th floor, yeah, of my apartment, and I still remember 25th April 2015. It was 11:50 a.m. and I wasn't well. It was a Saturday, so I wasn't well since Friday. I'd taken off from my work. So my maid was there at home, and I asked her, "Could you just prepare something for me to apply on my face because I was not liking the way I was looking. It was Saturday and I was sick." So she got me some aloe vera gel, and she went down. I took that gel, went to the bathroom, and I was seeing myself in the mirror, and I put the aloe vera gel on my face, and my hand it came like this. I saw
Mm.
my hand being pushed upward. I was
Oh,
like, maybe I'm hallucinating because I was feverish.
yeah.
But then second jhatka happened, and I actually saw myself like totally going left and right, and then I realized it was an earthquake. And it was so intense. I wish I could just, explain how scary it was. So I tried to come out of the bathroom and thought that maybe I can hold something and sit somewhere, maybe, and
Yes.
then I can save myself. And all our lives, we have been taught that whenever there is an earthquake, you have to slide inside the furniture. कहीं भी अंदर घुस के बैठ जाओ, you'll be safe. But in my
But
house,
on
there
the
was nothing.
14th floor?
Yeah. And moreover, I didn't have any furniture that sort of जिसके अंदर मैं बैठ सकती.
Acha.
I had low bed, low table, and everything. And then I saw the walls of my room cracking like this. Okay. And by that time, I think it had been 20 to 30 seconds. And I had been listening to so many noise, like people crying, shouting, and things falling. I still remember wo bartan ki aawazeं and everything that fell, even in my house. And I literally sat on the floor. I had nothing to hold. Even when I was sitting on the floor, I was just shaking like this. And when I saw the walls uh, cracking
Cracking.
like that, I was like, this is it. My life is going to be over now. And that moment, it still gives me goosebumps whenever I tell this story. That moment I felt that this is it. This is how I'm going to die. I mean, all the things that I had planned, although I didn't have anything so much planned that this is what I want to do, but I always wanted to make it big for myself.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to die now. I don't have any other moment or like day to live. And yeah, the shake was so intense, and all of a sudden, I don't know what happened to me. I felt there is someone telling in my ears, Priyanka, get up, you can still save your life. And you can imagine the intensity of it. It was 14th floor of the apartment. It was such a massive earthquake, so you can understand that. And what I did, I closed my eyes and was literally praying to Sai Baba that today, if I remain alive, I am going to do something big in my life. I don't know what is it is going to be. I really don't know, but something better than what I already have now. And I had this big quilt on my bed. And one thing I'm really proud of, even in such panicky situation, my mind still works. Okay. So although the whole thing was shaking, everything had fallen down on my head, beside me, my furniture, bookshelf, and everything. I still got an idea that, maybe the quilt I have on the bed, I took that quilt, put it on my head. Okay. And I somehow managed to come out of the house. It was like almost the door had become slanted like this. I somehow managed to come out, and from 14th floor, I started coming down like one step at a time. It was such a scary thing.
Oh
Everything
my
is
God.
falling on my head. I was like, it's okay. If I have to die like this, I will die. But if today I remain alive, that there's something big I'm going to do with my life. And then I came down and I saw so many people outside the apartment, and building was almost on the verge of collapsing. And that was a scary experience. And from there, I came back to India, and this earthquake thing is still in my heart. See, people say that, you should remove all the bad memories from your mind. Obviously, it was a very bad memory, but I feel it was for me a life-changing moment. Since then, whenever I'm scared about something or anything that troubles me or bugs me, I always remind myself of those moments. I'm like, this is the life you have got. It's like a rebirth. Okay. And you have to appreciate whatever you have. And the promises I had made to myself in those moments of earthquake, I'm still fulfilling it one day at a time. Yeah.
Definitely. We felt it till Dehradun. I was in Dehradun at that time
Okay.
when the earthquake happened.
Hmm?
So I can not imagine the amount it would have been in,
It
Nepal.
was, I
So
still feel that shake in my head. I mean, I
definitely.
still do. I still
Mm.
do. I still have the trauma of that. And every time in Delhi NCR, when there is a slight earthquake, also, my body goes on auto mode. I start running. It
Yeah.
has like my mind has taken it that way. The moment it starts shaking, you have to run. So any shake happens unknowingly. I feel that my body goes in auto mode and I start running. I don't know where, but I start.
So,
From Nepal, you came here and then you started your YouTube channel.
No, I came here, and that was another struggle I had. I came in a very traumatized condition, and again, I had already come back to India, to Delhi, and I didn't know what to do. And somehow I managed to got a job, and I also did my MBA in Nepal in
Mm.
marketing. So when I came here, a friend of mine helped me got a job at a production house as a marketing manager. So I joined the production house, and on my first day, I still remember after my work, I was going back home to my PG,
Mm.
and the auto I had taken, the driver was drunk, and he
Oh,
banged the auto on a car standing still on the road, and I had the road accident. It
oh my
was
God.
so intense that my leg got fractured, like brutally fractured. My knee patella got cracked in like 5 parts, and I still remember even that moment. It was nighttime, like very late evening, and I came back from earthquake, surviving that. I thought that now I've got a job and my life is going to get better now. First day of the job, and I am at the hospital bed. I cannot walk.
Mm.
And I remember when I reached the hospital, the police had taken me there, the ambulance and all. So, when I was lying down on the hospital bed, there was no doctor back then in the hospital. There were interns and all, and I was crying. I was so devastated, and they were like, "Ma'am, why are you crying? You will be fine." And I said, "It's not the pain. I'm not crying because of the pain I feel in my leg. It's the frustration of everything. It's just like
Yeah.
15 days back, I survived this earthquake, came back to India. Like it's so much of difficulty. I only know how I managed to come back to India. And again, when I thought that everything is going to get better, first day of my job, and I have like broken my leg so brutally, the doctor says that I may not be able to walk again properly, you know.
Mm.
And the next day, when the doctor came, I told him that how much time will it take for the recovery? And he said like 4 to 5 months. And but yeah, and I had a history of like my leg was broken once before also. So it was the second accident to my leg,
On the same
and
leg.
same leg. And doctor said that you may not be able to jump or hike or do any sort of trek and all. You can do normal walking once we do your physiotherapy and all after 2 3 months. That hit me so hard because I'm
Okay.
working at a production house where we make documentaries and all. We do go out for shoot and all. And again, I'm bedridden. I cannot walk. So it was
Mm.
again devastating. So, all the incidents in my life, whatever has happened till now, whatever have happened, I have always, like, told myself that things will get better. And every time something worst happens, remember that something good is coming your way. That has been my mantra for life. Always, anything wrong has happened to me ever, I always tell to myself, Priyanka, it's okay. Next day you're gonna be fine. Something better is coming up, and I make a fun also of it. कि कल को when I have something to write or I have to share my story with people, I will say मैं तो ये भी सह लिया, मैंने ये भी झेल लिया, मैंने ये भी देख लिया, मैंने it's like a checklist.
Yes.
That's how I keep myself very excited. And yeah, the job I got, and after 4 years, I was okay. I was working, and there I saw in the production house like how documentaries are being made, how it's being shot, and all. Because before that, I was a content writer. I was doing digital marketing and all. So the language, theory knowledge I had, but I didn't know how it is done practically. So although I was the marketing manager, my interest was more into production now. I could see, I could sit with the editor whole day. I could just stare at the screen and see how videos are being made. It was so
Mm.
like fascinating for me. And slowly I asked my boss also that if I can try doing this as well. And he was such a good man. He was like, do whatever you feel like doing. And I still remember in 2017, I was discussing with him that, do you think that I should start a YouTube channel? And before that, I had gone for a YouTube meet in Bangalore, and I saw these young YouTubers, all those YouTubers who are big shot now. So
Mm.
2016, I had met a lot of them, Sejal Kumar, then there was this Nazar Bhattu Productions and QRT, all these people. So like, if they can do it, I can also do it. But the biggest challenge was with all the things that had happened, I wasn't this confident. Okay. I was okay with the way I looked. I was like, it's okay. I have good screen appearance. Maybe I can do well. But my voice, I hated my voice like anything. I thought that, I have a very typical way of talking, a very funny way. And also, it's because people around me, they made fun of my voice quite a lot. I was bullied so much because of that. So it was always like a question for me, who will listen to my voice? If I would be able to do it or not. And it took me like more than a year or two, from conceiving the idea of starting a YouTube channel to actually execute it. It took me more than a year. But it happened. And in 2017, November, I asked my boss that, maybe you can give me 2 months of leave,
Mm.
I want to pursue YouTube. If things don't work in 2 months, if I don't enjoy it, I'll come back. And he happily agreed. So in 2017, December, out of 30 days, I did 25 shoots
Wow.
without uploading one single video on YouTube. I was back to back editing. And for the person I am, like I say that I plan a lot. I have plan A, B, C, D, E. So my idea was I have taken 2 months break. So 1 month I'll shoot. Second month I'll give these videos to somebody who can edit. And at the same time I can work. I can continue with my job because I needed money even for my survival.
Yes.
So that same thing I did. January, I hired one editor who was editing my videos. 1 month he edited, and I was just uploading. I was being so regular because I had so much of content already ready with me. So January to 2018, 2nd January, I started my YouTube channel, and 21st February is my birthday. I still remember making one video on my birthday, and I already had 10,000 subscribers. I don't know how it happened, but
Wow.
people loved my videos, initial videos. And I started getting comments more like, we love your voice, we love the way you host your show. It doesn't look like a regular vlog, it looks like some TV shows. And that gave me a confidence, like very different level of confidence. And here I was, all my life I felt that my voice is so weird and people will not like it. And the thing I was most doubtful about, that thing gave me the biggest confidence, and that is till it's like I have become so comfortable in my own skin. I feel whatever I say is going to be good because I've brought myself in that position now. I think a lot before I speak. So yeah, that's my YouTube journey, and that's how my channel started.
Wonderful. I would like to ask one little thing, the details of when you came from Nepal to India. How
Mm-hmm.
did you manage to come back? You said it's when the earthquake happened,
Mm-hmm.
everything would have been, in shatters in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out, yeah, so coming out of that and then making your way to India, how was that? You know?
I was there for 3 days. So 25th earthquake had happened, and 28th I was landed in India. And 3 days, I think more than 127 aftershocks of the earthquake. And those 3 days we didn't have anything. I went to my friend's house after coming down from that building. My friend was living nearby and she had a bungalow.
Mm,
So, and she was the only person I was so close to. And at that point, I just wanted to just hug her. I was so devastated and all. So I went to her house, but even her house, everything was shattered. We didn't have food to eat. There was no light. It was raining and it was cold. Like nature's disaster at its best and most that night I had seen. So 3 days, but yeah, a friend, like so many friends of mine, one friend from USA, two friends from India, they all booked my ticket. They were like, you just have to come out. And I still remember there was not much phone ka signal, though it was not there. But when I went to my friend's house, her internet was still working, the Wi-Fi, and
mm,
she had this inverter, so I had little bit of power backup and internet. And this morning only I was checking my Facebook status of that day, so I had written my address on the Facebook wall
mm.
just to tell people that here I am. If someone has to look for me, they can look for me here. And my friend, they rescued me from there, and I came back to India in the flight and with so many other people. And that's how I came. But it was an experience, scary experience. I don't know.
Definitely it was. Like without food, water, electricity, and rains and everything.
And it was like such a panic situation. Everybody is saying another earthquake will come. When you are in panic, when you are scared, anything will just make you even more scared. Like just look at the scenario these days. Corona,
Mm.
everybody
Yeah.
COVID-19 been talking. Any sort of thing, even simple sneezing that we did like countless times 2 months before. We never bother about those. But now even simple sneeze is actually making us so worried. So that's what happens when you're scared and even small thing happens, you are like so much in panic. So same with me, even I was in too much panic, but now I recall and I feel so great about it that I'm so glad that all this happened to me. Otherwise, I don't think so. I would be pursuing this career what I have now, much like on path. And that's why I say that कि life में जब भी बहुत बुरा होता है, you will not believe, maybe it sound too cliche also, but I always pray to God कि मुझे ऐसा नहीं है, मुझे problems मत दो. I always say, give me as much as you want, but I want the strength to deal with it. Because these problems, what I go through, any sort of unexpected things, it only makes me stronger day by day. And life is all about experiences. I do not want to be in the comfort all the time. In fact, I never want to be in comfort. I'm one of those restless people who always want to do something, one or the other. So yeah, I really admire whatever the struggles I have gone through, appreciate it, and I feel myself very fortunate of all this thing happened. Like right now also, because I had this earthquake experience, you are so quietly listening to me, and I'm able to tell you something that you have not experienced. Touch wood, you should not experience also, but I'm
Nice.
just giving you an example. Yeah,
Definitely. But that is also an experience and to survive it. And
yeah,
with a brave heart that you have and the gypsy boho spirits that you have in yourself, that fire that you always had since your childhood. So this experience was actually you survived also. So it's like a bonus in a way. I'm not saying it
yeah.
should happen, but yeah, it's kind of a bonus. Now you got to experience all of that and you survived. And now you can say, see, I'm the hero.
I, I did this also. It's like a checklist. And
Exactly.
then earthquake happened,
Yeah,
accident happened, heartbreak happened, failure happened, laid off happened. So it's like, it's
exactly.
a checklist.
Yeah, and we always say ना adventure sports करने हैं. अभी इससे ज्यादा adventure क्या होगा?
Real
You know?
life adventure. Yeah. But yeah, one thing I'm really super proud of, like despite of breaking my leg twice, and it was not a small fracture what I had. Once I broke it was a ligament tear, and second time my entire knee itself is gone, the joint of your leg. And
Oh my
doctor
God.
told me I won't be able to like jump or do any sort of activity. But today I'm totally fine. Obviously, it's there in my head. Like if you ask me to jump, without seeing my feet, I won't be able to, because I'm conscious. I want to see how where I'm landing. It has happened after the accident, but then look at my videos. I'm still hiking. I'm doing treks. If everything was normal, I would have been in Annapurna base camp, Annapurna or even Everest base camp. Abhi, but nahi ab nahi ho paya. But that's how I am. I just don't like giving up. I
Yeah.
just don't. I'm like, it's a challenge. I'll face it.
Yes. Yeah. And coming to that not giving up spirit, you were in a orthodox and conservative society back at home. So how did you not give up on yourself and your dreams? How did you manage to, make it through?
I think the stubborn child in me was never ready to give up. And I told you, I never had a plan, as in now I have plan A, B, C, D and all. But back then I never had a plan to do that. This is what, like if you ask kids, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an officer, I want to be an engineer. I never said all of these.
Mm,
I knew only one thing, that I have to be independent. I have to be fearless. And I want to do something that I should be very proud of later in my life. This is all I had in my mind. So every time there was a struggle, there was a challenge, I always reminded myself, will this thing lead me to feel happy, or will it lead me to, be satisfied about the whole thing, what I'm doing? And that has worked like a fuel to me. So, yeah.
yeah, wonderful. So you have lived in Nepal for 6 years,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
a, dream travel destination for many of us. So,
Yeah.
in a way, experiencing the mountains, the actual mountains, the Himalayas, you lived there for 6 years. How was that experience, the day-to-day life, and the challenges you faced, or the amazing awesomeness you faced?
I was not exactly like I was living in Kathmandu. So it's still a city. But yeah, obviously it's surrounded by mountains.
Mm,
And I'll tell you, before that, I lived in India, in all the metro cities. If you have to pay the electricity bill, you don't have to stand in the long queue. You have
mm,
your app for every that. Back then the apps were not there, I think, but online payments and all, everything was working.
mm,
There in Nepal, those things were not there. There I understood the basics of life. When you have to travel, here we have such like easily available cabs and all. There it's not there,
true.
and the commute is so expensive that you really have to work for it. So it's not easy to take a taxi there, and also all these struggles I saw there in Nepal of basic things, even education. And one thing I like loved about the people in Nepal, it's like, in my words, no offense to anybody, but whatever I had experienced, I'll say. So in India, till the time I was here, it was like, there is a company, I have to study, I have to go through the placement, I will get a job, life is sorted.
Mm,
But there, the job opportunities are so little. There are no like big companies or anything. People, every single person there, they work so hard. You will see so many businessmen there. The only reason is that because there are no jobs, there are job creators there. You know,
mm,
they they create job. Even when I was doing my MBA and all, everybody was thinking what they can do next. Not that which company they are going to get placed, but their main focus was what new they can start so that they
mm,
can become an employer. So that's something I uh, enjoyed seeing in people there, that inspired me, that so much of struggle they go through, and everybody is working. And Nepalese people, they are also the most chilled out people. शाम के 7 बजने के बाद उनको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता what they have in their life. So many things, like a key things, to work hard, to give time to the family, to feel happy with whatever you have. These are the things I learned there, being with people in Nepal and surrounding with it. And I think mountains have this tendency to calm you down. No matter how stressed out you are, how frustrated or angry you are, it just calms you down. So in a way, yeah, that's what I learned there.
they don't have to think about the mainstream things that we think
Yeah.
about daily.
Like
Yeah.
here we have so many options. If this does not work, you can go for another job. If second job does not work, you can go for third job. But there are not so many companies. So everyone tries to become the employer. कि ये करना, and there's a difference when you work for someone else and when you have your own thing to do. The amount of effort you put in, it differs. I have worked, although I was a very sincere employee for whosoever I have worked so far, but the amount of effort, dedication, and hard work I put in my own work now is way beyond that what I had put earlier in my jobs.
Yeah, that happens. खुद के
Yeah.
काम के लिए ज्यादा मेहनत लग जाती
बहुत
है.
ज़्यादा. Because then you do not have anybody to tell you, no, this is right, this is wrong. You are your own critic. When you do good, you pat on your own back. I was like, you did a good job. And when you are not doing good, you get frustrated on your own. So there's so many things you have to go through when you're working for your own. And there in Nepal, I learned that I think business wala idea came in Nepal only. Like I wanted to do something. I didn't want to work for someone else because I did not see very good job opportunities there.
Mm-hmm. So, did you visit Nepal again?
Nepal,
Okay.
anywhere I had been earlier also, but last year also I went just to, yeah, so I went to Nepal last year to come out of the trauma I had, of the
Yeah.
earthquake, because after 2015 I had not gone there. So
Mm.
last year I was like, let me come out of that phobia. It was giving me so much of anxiety, but I was fine till the moment I was in the flight. But the moment I landed at Kathmandu airport, again my head, I could recall the whole thing. And I had my severe anxiety this time. But yeah, it was a pleasant experience. And I'm really, every time I want to go back to Nepal to experience. Also for a reason that 6 years I was in Nepal, I was not vlogging. Now that I'm
Mm.
vlogging, I want to show people like how beautiful Nepal is.
True. So, how was everything there, and how is the Pashupatinath temple? I always wanted to visit it, and I was really sad by the earthquake news.
Temple has not been like destroyed too much. It's still there, but Darbar squares, the Darbar of Kings, those.
अच्छा.
And like I said, I to die for culture. For me, it was
Exactly.
such a heartbreaking thing to see all that. पहले लोग कह सकते थे कि ये दरबार हुआ करता था, but now
हाँ.
after that they will see यहाँ पे दरबार हुआ करता था, वो टूट गया, वापस से बनाया गया उसको.
So about the awards, you won the award for the best YouTuber and the best travel blogger in India. So how was that experience in Malaysia, and when they called you for this, how happy were you that you made it?
I was very, very happy. I mean, I'm sure everybody is happy when they get award for their work, for the effort they put in. It's like till now, it was I was working and my audience were watching my content, my viewers, but a third person actually recognized my effort. So when you get an award, it's just not about your presence in the video, it's about the whole thing. At least in that criteria, it was there, your technical aspect of your content, how like better you are at what is it, hosting the show or
Yeah.
blogging, how basics, very easily you can communicate to people. So all these things they had measured, and that's how I got both the awards in the YouTube category. And I every day, I mean, that day I was reminding myself again of the journey I have come through. I started from zero, and
Yeah.
then today I have this award in my hand. It was a beautiful feeling.
Mm.
When everybody was deciding on the dress code, I was very fixated in my head that I'm going to wear a sari. First of all, it's Desi Girl, so I stand for my brand. Second, I'm going to represent India.
Yeah. And to talk about the experiences, like you went there for the award function, you met people, you had
Yeah.
food, and you
Mhm.
met other vloggers and YouTubers also. So how
Yeah.
was that experience related to food, people, and culture? So how
See,
was Malaysia?
so for me to travel at any of the place, I look more for the history and the culture.
Okay.
And people, my favorite ones are people of any place. I am like, so much into having a conversation with the locals wherever I go to understand. And मुझे बहुत मजा आता है लोगों को observe करने में, उनसे कुछ सीखने में, so much that even when I used to travel in Delhi metro, मैं सबके चेहरे देखती थी. And I was like, हर किसी के दिमाग में कितनी सारी चीजें चल रही होंगी ना. So it's so
Definitely.
interesting for me, and I love that. So even in Malaysia, when I went, although I didn't get much chance to communicate with too many local people, but I had my guide there, and he was telling me about the culture there, what they do, how it is. So it was a good experience.
My too. I love exploring the culture and food. फूड में
Mhm.
मैं मतलब खाना पसंद नहीं है, लेकिन जैसे इंडोनेशिया गए थे तो सरप्राइज मिल गया था हमें खाने में, जो लाइक नॉन वेजिटेरियंस आल्सो कुड नॉट ईट द नॉन वेजिटेरियन फूड देयर, दे
That
सब. या.
with me even in Malaysia. I cannot. I could not. I love eating chicken, but I'm a boring person when it comes to food. But yeah, I also had struggled so much when I went to Malaysia. Even the eggs I could not eat there. It was smelling so bad, stinking,
Exactly.
and I was like, I cannot eat it. So I literally survived on bread and butter 5 days in Malaysia. I could not eat anything else. And one tip I'll give you. I
Yeah.
always do things whenever I travel, wherever I go, I always have my few protein bars and cup noodles. I do not eat noodles too much, but whenever I travel, I have these two things in my bag. So it doesn't matter if the place is good or not, if I'm getting food or not. I will have my cup noodles, I'll have my dry fruits, my energy bar, and I'll survive. So even in Malaysia, I did that. Though I did not carry the noodles, but I had my protein bars with me. I don't care if I'm going to a very big city or I'm going to some offbeat location. I always have my food with my bag.
And that must have been, bonus for you when you were in Malaysia.
It was, oh my God, I cannot like explain enough how it was, how it helped me.
Okay, so you said you had your cab driver who was a local. So what was that one interesting fact that you would like to share that he shared with you about Malaysia and its people?
Yeah, I have. When I was doing this hiking in Malaysia, Kota Kinabalu, I had three guides with me, okay? One main guide and two were like one lady and the other was a guy. Three of us were walking together. The main guide were like before us and and we three were together. And
Mhm.
these guys, they were asking me, "You're from India, Priyanka Chopra, you know?" And I said, "No, there are so many Priyankas there." And they were like, "Kuch hota hai, kuch hota hai." They remember Kuch Hota Hai movie, and the lady guide, she had watched that movie for more than 30, 40 times. And although she was not able to communicate well what she was telling me, but I could totally figure out. She was telling that, me and my mom, both of us watch that movie and we will cry, we will smile. Kuch hota hai, Shah Rukh Khan. And so that is again like बोलते हैं ना बाहर जाके आप अपने देश के बारे में कुछ सुनते हो तो कितना अच्छा लगता है.
Ah,
And I think for us, till that time we were not comfortable with each other, and the moment they said this kuch hota hai and all, suddenly we all were so friendly. It gave us a connection, that okay, now
mm,
here it will give us a thing to bond on. Yeah, so that's like a very fond memory of. And about people of Malaysia, that lady and the guy, both the guides told me that people there in Malaysia, they watch Bollywood movies a lot and
mm.
they are big fan of Shah Rukh Khan and Priyanka Chopra. This is like
So,
it to know. Yeah.
okay, so you also went to Bhutan and you have covered plenty places in India also. So
Mm.
tell us the experiences that you had, not the sightseeing, not the other things that you have mentioned in your vlog, something that you have not mentioned.
Not mentioned about. I will give you for two places, okay? First a
Okay.
pleasant one, second unpleasant one. So the pleasant one was in Spiti, and I have this habit, wherever I go, I'll take one local guide with me. Guide as in not guide, but for the sake of like interaction and you come to know about the place. So कभी भी मैं कहीं भी जाती हूँ, so मेरी सबसे अच्छी दोस्ती होती है कैब ड्राइवर से, क्योंकि उनको सब पता होता है.
Uh,
एंड इवन स्पीति जो मेरा व्हीकल का ड्राइवर था, चंपा भैया, आई रिमेम्बर व्हेन आई वेंट टू चंद्रताल लेक. So there were many other people also who had traveled in the same vehicle. So they had gone for trek and all. And because I'm a vlogger, for me to be at one place, it takes me like at least 1 hour to take one place ka shot. If I have to just travel, so that I can just go here, there and travel. But then when you're shooting, you take too much time. So I decided I'll not rather choose to hike and I'll sit with him. It was my last day of the trip. And Chamba Bhaiya was sitting and he just said that, Ki, how lucky you are. And I said, like, why? What makes you say that? He said that you're lucky. You are being a girl. You have been traveling. Your parents don't say anything. And here in he was not calling it Spiti. He was like Sapiti, Sapiti. He was like
so,
Sapiti में औरतों को घर से बाहर भी नहीं निकलने मिलता. पूरे साल में एक बार गवर्नमेंट के खर्चे पे पूरे लाइफ में उनको एक बार लद्दाख जाने का मौका मिलता है. एंड एक पिक्चर लेते हैं और दीवार पे वो एक पिक्चर लगा के पूरी जिंदगी बिताते हैं उससे खुश होके. So it was like such a deep thing. He told me, like, we have this habit of getting everything and still cribbing all the time. I want more. I want more. And in like just few words, he said such a big thing that just वो एक picture के साथ पूरी life वो बिता देती है without complaining. So it actually gave me a sense of gratefulness. Like I have to be grateful for whatever I have been able to achieve. So
Mm,
that was my one experience of good, the pleasant one.
mm.
Uh, Learning, I'll say. And also, yeah, one more I have to. So in Spiti only Kaza, one morning I woke up and other people, they were still sleeping in their camps. And it was, I think, third or fourth day of me being in Spiti. It was cold, very cold. And I wake up very early. I'm an early riser. तो मैं सुबह उठी, सारे कैंप बिल्कुल शांत है, कोई नहीं है. And I took out my camera and I like, let me go for a walk. Okay. And वहाँ पे पास में एक खेत था. खेत में I saw few people working. I went straight to them. It took me like 10, 12 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to do the whole hiking. And I went there and I saw them like chopping off the thing. And I asked them, क्या कर रहे हो आप? तो कह रहे सत्तू बना रहे हैं. Like I don't know what it was for this uh, dhan या I don't know what grains that were.
Acha.
So, speaking with them, I asked them, can I just try it? He said, you won't be able to do it. I said, I can, let me just try. And I did it with them. I was also chopping off the stuff there. And the
Wow.
lady asked me, how come you know it? I said, I don't know it. I saw you doing it and I tried the same thing. And then I was just sitting with them and having a conversation. And the lady asked me, how come you're here? आपको डर नहीं लगता अकेले? I said, नहीं अकेले तो डर नहीं लगता, लेकिन वहां तो वैसे भी मैं अकेले थी नहीं. So we
Mm.
were just talking and she was saying that this is all we eat throughout the year. पहले
Acha.
उगाते हैं और बेचते हैं.
हाँ.
बेचने से जो पैसा आता है और बाद में जो बच जाता है उसको हम खाते हैं. So in a way she was saying that this is their survival for the entire year. So वो conversation was a sort of nice thing. And the unpleasant one was in Chhattisgarh when I went there. And anyone are so scared of going to Chhattisgarh. Even when I got an opportunity, I was first skeptical if I should be going or not. But then I took the courage to go. And I remember I went to a tribal market. Okay, some
अच्छा.
sort of heart bazaar it was that used to take place only on particular day. I think it was Wednesday.
Mm.
And I had my camera in hand. And first of all, you get to hear so many unpleasant things about tribal areas and, Chhattisgarh. So it was like I was not very happy about the overall thing in my head. I was scared, to be honest. And when I went there, I saw these tribal people and they were making like local booze and having it. I was
Mm.
shooting, I was framing the camera like this. I was taking a pan shot and I could feel somebody with a knife or something poking on my back. And I was alone, like my guide was somewhere else, and the co-travelers they were somewhere else. I was all alone. I was shooting, and I got seriously scared that what if? And they were tribes. They know what I was doing. Obviously, I was not doing anything wrong. I had the
Mm.
permission to shoot, but they could not understand. So they started like howling at me. I was not understanding anything what they are saying, and I was scared. I was like, what if they stab the knife in me? What will happen? I will die. But then they were saying something and I was trying to make them understand. I was showing them the camera and footages that this is what I'm doing and trying to smile and give charming
हाँ.
face. And when you are scared, you know that something wrong is going to happen. You still try to be charming. And that's what I was doing. But then my guide came and then he explained to the tribes that whatever I was doing, and then they left me. But just like 10, 15 minutes before that, I was surrounded by these tribes and I was so scared. I didn't know what was happening to me. Scary experience that was. But I'm
Okay.
sure they also didn't do it on purpose. They must be scared of like
हाँ.
what I was doing there. They're like, what is she recording in the camera?
हाँ.
And maybe
और
वो
को दे रही
टाइम
हो जो
था
नहीं
वो
बता
टाइम
रही.
लेट आता तो मैं अभी स्वर्गीय हो चुकी होती मैं वहां पे. I feel.
Well, that was scary. Okay, so what message would you like to give to our listeners?
I can only say that don't give up. Don't give up. Even if people tell you that you won't be able to do something because of the place you come from, because of the way you look, because of the way you talk, or because of the way you appear in public, don't listen to them. Don't give up. Till the time you are confident about yourself, you can do it. I can totally say that because, in my life, I have experienced that people who tell you can't do it, they themselves are the losers. You will never see a successful person or person who always believes in doing hard work saying that ये मत करो, ये नहीं होगा तुमसे. They never talk like this. They always respect, they value what hard work and dedication can pay off. And only the people who have never done anything in their own life will give you this sort of lecture and talk. So don't give up and dream. Dream. It does not matter. It's a small thing or big thing. If it is something that you want to do, it is a big thing for you. So just doesn't matter if it's a small thing or a big thing, just don't give up and live for yourself. Live for yourself. When you're pleasant too much in your own being, everything will appear so pleasant to you. I say this thing proudly that
Yeah,
God gives trouble to people who he feels that has the courage to go through it. Not
definitely.
everybody can go and be courageous all the time.
Mm.
It's not that I have never felt like giving up. I have also felt like, but then again, I remind myself that what is beyond this? And there
Mm.
has to be reason for everything that has happened. And why did you even start it? So remember
Yeah.
those things. And that's what gives me courage, the encouragement to go to my next step.
Yeah.
I also believe in one thing. When you decide on doing something, no, see, for everything, first thing is that you have to decide, you have to do. Second thing, you have to be sure that you are going to dedicate your entire thing to that. Third is no kamchori in doing the hard work. So when you
Mm.
have all these three things placed, the fourth thing, the work becomes easier. You start with one step and you get your second step, then third, then fourth. So I think the important thing is to get started. That's where most of the people they get stuck.
Yeah,
Once you start and once you know that they'll say if you have given your 100%, you are going to get your next thing. Yes,
definitely.
I always believe, and whenever I feel that this thing has not worked properly, I ask myself, have I given my 100% to it? Can I
Mm.
do it in a better way? If the answer is yes, then I go ahead, you know. Then I stop crying. जो भी गलत हुआ रहने दो. It's हुआ because I have been lazy. मैंने अच्छे से काम नहीं किया. I could not give my 100%, so it's गलत हुआ. इससे अगली बार
Mm.
better. And that's how it has happened. No, like, see, me being an IT engineer, then lost my job, did content writing, digital marketing, and everything. And today I'm traveling. It's my full-time job. I
Mm.
never thought that one day I would be able to, but I have been doing it now. And I believe in that what Steve Jobs had said. You just have to create dots in your life so that, someday you would be able to connect those dots and form a line. And that's exactly how I feel in my life also. So my BTech degree has definitely given me the technical knowledge, and
Mm.
because of that, I can understand the technicalities of a lot of things. Then I
Mm.
did my MBA. It gave me a knowledge about marketing the product, starting a business, and then content writing. And then since I always wanted to be in the digital space, and just imagine me coming back to India and getting a job in the production house out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Never thought that. So it was all like, it kept on happening. It was like a dots I had. And I also do, like, any opportunity I get in my life, I give my 100% to it. It makes sense, or if it does not make sense, I will think about it later. But I will give my 100.
and the last question that
Yes.
how can our audience connect with you?
So you can connect with me anywhere on YouTube, Instagram, email, Desi Girl Traveler. I repeat it, Desi Girl is one word and then Traveler. So you can look for me on Instagram, it's Desi Girl Traveler, on YouTube also Desi Girl Traveler, or you can write to me on my email, desigirltraveler@gmail.com. All the details are basically there in my Instagram and YouTube channel. So that's how you can find me.
Okay, so this is the end, and thank you so much, Priyanka, for coming on this show and taking out time for this. Thank you so
The
much.
topic, yeah, actually, it feels really nice to be able to share my struggle stories or whatsoever. And if I'm able to touch even one person's heart through this podcast, and if I'm able to bring change, even small change to even one person in their life, it would be a big thing.
So, this was Priyanka's life journey so far, and I hope you enjoyed it and this inspired you. Thank you so much for giving your precious time to this podcast. If this episode was inspiring and insightful, please do drop a comment on my Instagram and YouTube @ MyBohoVoyage. Please do subscribe and give a 5-star rating and hopefully write a review for inspiring explorers. Also, please don't forget to connect with me on Instagram and YouTube. Drop me a hi or send me a comment so that I know we are in this journey together. This is Meenakshi Shrivastava, your host for Inspiring Explorers, saying goodbye. See you next week with an amazing, inspiring interview. Till then, take care.